billion-dollar ideas can become billion-dollar institutions.
Exactly. From kitchens and eyewear to home services and fintech, these aren't just companies, they're systems that have redefined how India lives, works, and consumes. They've also rewritten the playbook for resilience, surviving funding winters, global slowdowns, and still betting on India's next growth curve. To lead this powerhouse conversation, we have with us Amitabh Kant, former G20 Sherpa and the driving force behind Startup India, a policy maker who has championed India's entrepreneurial transformation. And joining him are Phani Addepalli, co-founder and CGO Swiggy. We also have Peyush Bansal, co-founder and CEO Lenskart, Abhiraj Bhal, CMD and CEO Urban Company, and Yashish Dahiya, Chairman and co-founder PB Fintech. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Kant and our stellar panel with a big round of applause.
So wonderful to be in the midst of these four extraordinary young Indian entrepreneurs who've demonstrated to us the art of disruption, scaling, surviving, and really becoming billion-dollar entrepreneurs. This session's called Billion Dollar Babies. None of them are babies, actually. They've really demonstrated the art of moving from babies to becoming real giant killers in many ways. These are people who, when we started our startup movement in 2016, India had just about 150 odd startups. Today, India has over 160,000 startups. We have over 160 unicorns in India. Many of them have been inspired by the journey of these four great young entrepreneurs. Let me first start with Peyush, who is just... I'm starting with you simply because I'm your consumer.
Thank you, sir.
This specs I wear is from Lenskart. So what makes Lenskart such an extraordinary story that you've been oversubscribed 28x? This great combination of technology, great eyewear. What's one big, huge disruption that you brought in?
See, I think, firstly, thank you, sir, for being a customer, and thanks for the vote of confidence. Look forward to keep serving you in the future as well. I think the whole persistence and focus on a problem and a vision that how do we get India completely visually corrected is one big difference. I think that obsession that we have almost 500 million people in India who need vision care and who are without one, and how can we really use technology to solve this problem. And I think the most disruptive, to answer and I think that mission has really kept it going and staying persistent day after day with a lot of failures. From a technology perspective, I think, and at the core of all of that, I think technology has been the biggest disruption. I'll give you a problem, as we were scaling up, one of the biggest problems we were facing is that we do not have optometrists in India, enough. We have 35 or 40 optometrists for 1 million people. And it was like a big bottleneck on how do we test eyes for 500 million people more. And then using AI and technology, we developed this ecosystem where you can sit in front of a machine and do self-eye test. And you can talk to a machine. And that became... So I think, to me, disruptions which have been around democratizing eye test have been the biggest ones.
Okay. And you're also in the export market.
Yes.
So how many countries have you penetrated so far?
So we are now in about 14 countries.
Okay, wonderful. So Phani Kishan is the co-founder of Swiggy. He's given Amazon, Flipkart, everybody a run for their money. He's also started doing 10 minutes delivery. How many deliveries are you doing a day?
Well, it depends on the day, but between 3 to 4 million.
Okay, and how much more disruption will you do? What's the next big plan?
I think for us, our mission has always been around delivering convenience to people. That's how we started. That's why I think we've been successful. There were many questions 10 years back around ability of people to pay for convenience.
Yeah.
And that's probably been our biggest contribution in the last 10 years, right? Where we've shown that at scale, people will pay for convenience and we can build massive businesses around that. And our vision continues to be around how do we unlock new methods in which hopefully you can get convenience.
And how's your journey of moving from just a food delivery app to providing many more things like shoes and groceries and many other items going?
Yeah, I think when we started out, of course, our vision was very simple. We said there seems to be a problem in food delivery, so why don't we solve that? But as we've scaled, the big question that came up for us is what can we do that can change, people's lives? If Swiggy was there in your life versus not, what meaningful delta difference can we make, right? And that caused the genesis of Instamart about now 5 years ago, about 4 or 5 years back. We constantly keep thinking now we have a concierge service where we're saying, hey, ranging from, trying to get a ticket at a movie or a concert to traveling abroad, how can I make my life easier? So we focused on continuously looking at pain points in people's lives, removing them, and be hopefully an integral part, an operating system, if I may, of their day-to-day life. So that's where our constant innovation is about.
So tell me, just because of you, are Indians and Indian housewives, are they all losing the art of cooking at home?
No. I don't think so. I can give my mom as a great example for this, right? There was a time when she was quite surprised about me joining or starting Swiggy because I was in a consulting firm and she was like, what exactly are you doing? But over the last many years, I've seen herself transform, wherein she continues to rely a lot on, let's say, the offline markets to get what she wants. But there are these few occasions. It's early in the morning, late in the night, some guests that come over to the place where there is that need state of seeking that additional help, right? And that's the kind of role that we're playing. So the way we see is to augment people's lives as opposed to displace it in any manner, right? And that's what we're observing. At the end of the day, while I wish we're used a lot more frequently than we are used, 3-4 times a month on average. And that kind of shows how we're augmenting, making life a lot more easy for people than, displacing it in some way.
So let me turn to Abhiraj, who's really brought a lot of discipline to the home services market, which was really chaotic in India. You can arrange a plumber, electrician, a carpenter, even someone who can do your beauty, makeup, all right on his digital app, one click, they'll be at your house in 10 minutes. Abhiraj, how's it going? How's the journey been for you?
Thank you, Amitabh. Amitabh, we started this company 10 years back with the simple vision of providing exceptional service to Indian households. High quality, reliable, always on time, and just delightful. That has been our North Star ever since, and it's something that keeps us honest even today. We want to be a company that is truly known for customer service, customer excellence, and in equal measure also help our service professionals live dignified, respectful, middle-class lives. So that's the vision we've been on. It's not been easy. It is a complex, operationally challenging business.
So you must be doing a lot of skilling for this.
We do.
And how many people have you skilled so far?
Till date, we've skilled roughly 60,000 service professionals in our training centers. We also use a lot of technology, a lot of AI to ensure quality control at the doorstep. And in many ways, we think we're only getting started.
So where do you see the future of the market? Tier 2, Tier 3 cities abroad, markets like Dubai, Singapore, where all are you going to penetrate in the next few years?
See, we think we can be in every middle class Indian household once a day, eventually. So,
So that's about 450 to 500 million Indian households.
yeah, so I think the opportunity is very large. We have to be disciplined, we have to be calibrated. We don't have to get ahead of ourselves, but we have to keep reminding ourselves that, we're less than 1% done.
So, with the kind of numbers that you're talking, each one of you is talking, it appears to me that you're still undervalued, not overvalued. Huh?
Look, we just focus on value creation
Okay.
and leave the valuation to the markets.
Okay, so what is this connect between market value and the market share? And how do you look at expanding, growing, and enhancing market value in a much bigger way and getting a larger share of the market? Will that further enhance values? What is the core? How do you look at the correlationship in terms of values going up? Let's start with Peyush for a minute.
See, I think eventually we look at it in, I can talk about Lenskart. There is what we have achieved so far is a very large role to play.
Okay.
So for us, I think, and I believe for all of us right now, we are in very early stages of the journey. And I genuinely think with AI coming in the picture, if you have been using technology for a decade to deliver that extra experience, to deliver that extra reach, now is the time to take that extra superpower of AI and make it 10x.
Okay, I'm going to come to you, but I wanted to turn to Yashish because Yashish Dahiya has done a remarkable job in Policy Bazaar. He's sold about 20 million policies to Indians, health policies and term policies. It's a remarkable success story in terms of insurance. And Yashish, 20 million policies, what is the biggest challenge and how do you look at yourself in the next 5 years?
So first of all, before I say anything about Policy Bazaar, I wanted to thank you because you are the one person who for the last 10 years has been the go-to person for every startup. And we derived a lot of confidence in the fact that you were just there and willing to listen to all of us, whatever problem we had. So thank you for that. Now,
Totally agree, sir. Totally.
I think, see, we had a very simple, if you look at India, we used to have joint family systems. See, everybody works for about 20, 30, 40 years in their life. But before that, they are kids. And after that, they are old. And that time they don't earn, but they still have expenditures. And then there are people who fall ill or they die early. I've had some incidents in my family. And then their families go through very, very strong financial problems. Healthcare costs are going up, etc., etc. So for me, as I think of India 20 years, 30 years from now being a developed country, one of the biggest challenges we're going to have is healthcare and social security. Because we're a developing country, going to become developed. And I somehow thought in 2008, when we looked at the insurance industry, we were not selling health insurance and term insurance. We were selling some kind of savings kind of products and some car insurance, and that was it. And for me, that was, the reason for that was the consumer was not educated. And so we spent the last 17 years trying to educate the consumer about these products, but it's not that simple alone. If today I'm not well and I know I'm going to, let's say I'm terminally ill, I want to buy a term insurance plan. So there's a lot of fraud element, etc. So in those 20 million, sir, it's a very circumspect journey and it's been built kind of day by day because you don't want to sell to somebody who's desperate to buy insurance. You want to sell to people, and that's the only way to kind of keep it feasible. So I think in terms of opportunity, it's very simple to look at countries that spend a lot on social security. You will typically find about 20 to 30% of their national budgets going towards things like healthcare, pensions, etc., etc. And in our case, it may not be the government, it may be individuals that have to be trained to do the same. And that training is a very difficult task. It's not it's not easy to get anybody to part with 10,000, 20,000 rupees. In the piece that, look, if something goes wrong, somebody will be there to help them. There'll be a claim provided. It's a pretty difficult proposition. But yeah, that's been the journey.
So, I want to touch upon the other issue about growth and equity and about getting into tier 2, tier 3 cities and rural areas. Because all of you are talking about 1 billion consumers in India. One is, how do you in the next phase penetrate the next layer of tier 2, tier 3 cities? I also want to look at, because to my mind, Indian companies can be great companies if you can penetrate global markets. Export is very critical to me. Indians must learn the art of getting 5x of what you earn in India by penetrating global markets. What's your strategy on penetrating tier 2, tier 3 cities and on exports? And I'll start with Swiggy.
Yeah, so I think for us, over the last many years, one thing that we've at least resolved is our commitment to focusing only on India. This is the market that we believe that we are in for the long term, and there's a fair amount of headroom for expansion here. So I think we are focused very much on India. On the aspect of tier 2 and tier 3, I can give an anecdote, right? A few months back, I was in a tier 2 town, Vijayawada, and I was meeting a few customers, and there was this homemaker who was talking about her purchase habits, and she spoke about how Instamart solves a very critical problem statement for her, where she cares for the health of her family, and there is a particular product, a 7-grained atta, that's not actually available in any of our local stores. While majority of our purchases still happen offline, there is this occasion, there is this element where we are providing access to people, and a lot of our tier 2, tier 3 towns don't have that evolved retail formats as well, right? And that's the kind of opportunity which we think that we can. It's about access, it's about convenience, it's about affordability to the consumer when they need it. And while we started out not thinking that we would have a role to play in those areas, it turns out that we could solve a much more important problem in tier 2, tier 3 in comparison to tier 1.
Okay, Peyush.
See, I think it is, if I look at our lives today, we are consuming so many international brands. I mean, you look at apparel, you look at shoes that everybody is wearing. And if you think about it, consumers are going to gravitate towards the best of the brands. And I think it is time that we start creating global brands, because my firm belief is that in the long term, if you think 10, 20 years, either you are global standard or you may cease to exist. What will it take for us to create global companies? I think the most important thing is belief. I think we have been phobic about it. When we were trying to go international, we faced a lot of resistance. More, I would say, mentally, created, that Indian companies may not succeed international. How many successful examples do we have? But today, about 40% of our revenue comes from international markets. I think that belief was really important.
So, which is your biggest export market right now?
Right now, the biggest market is Southeast Asia.
Okay.
Singapore, Thailand, and then Japan.
How big are you in the Middle East?
Middle East is second in we're not allowed to disclose market-wise numbers, and we are listing in 2 days. So I want to make sure I comply. But I would say we are one of the largest players.
Okay. Abhiraj.
So 2 parts to this question. One, on the tier 2, tier 3 opportunity. I think that opportunity is immense. And it's only going to grow as India grows and middle class Indians, have more discretionary income. We are present in about 50 odd cities in India. And the number of emails I get every day from customers in cities we are not present in, saying that you should launch urban company in our city. We are worthy, and we need your service. So I can see that opportunity, and I think it's a long-term, one-way opportunity.
And what's your most popular service?
Mostly around home cleaning.
Okay.
But we also have beauty and repairs, which is popular. But to your other question of going global, and we have a global footprint in the Middle East and in Singapore as well. One of the things I've realized, Amitabh, is when you are a global company, even if you have a small global presence, you learn so much because you learn to operate at the global scale. You learn about global quality standards, how your product should be globally competitive, how your service quality should be globally competitive. That invariably those learnings will be plowed back into your business in India.
Yeah.
So I always encourage companies to have at least some presence globally because that's the real playing ground.
Yeah.
And it allows you to calibrate yourself against what's globally best in class.
Okay. And probably you get a little bit better unit value realization also?
100%.
Yeah. Okay.
100%.
Yashish?
So, sir, 8 years ago, 20% of our business would come from tier 2, tier 3 cities.
Yeah.
Today, it's about 75%. And most of the growth is coming from tier 2, tier 3. Talking about international, I did not originally believe in the international concept. Now I do. I think we certainly need to have our organizations going international because that's how you build national IP. That's how you build, see, the fact is Google, Facebook, etc. That's how America makes a lot of money. And there is no reason India should not. Some of our organizations, including ours, are super good compared to global standards.
I wanted to turn to this issue about making great companies like yours into the greatest companies in the world. One of the challenges Indian startup movement has faced is that you do well, you do an IPO, you raise a lot of good money, there's a lot of publicity, and then there are issues of governance, major issues of governance, there's financial mismanagement. How do we tackle this so that we convert 4 of these companies into the greatest companies in the world? What can we do on governance? Yeah.
Yashish, given
This is a
the
very
most amount of
important issue
experience.
to my
So
mind.
it's a very, very critical issue.
Yeah.
I think all of us actually have a very good smell for which are the companies that have a governance
You
problem.
can talk about yourself, you can't talk about others.
No, I can tell you, if you ask the startup community, 100 of them, which companies have governance issues and which do not have governance issues, you will get a pretty good idea. Now, at times, or historically, we have been a place which is difficult to do business in.
Yeah.
And my request is, one should, as a government, be able to see where difficulty is creating issues, right? I think that's also important. That's equally like I can talk about our sector. Life has been pretty hard on us, right? And I was talking to the ex IRDA chairman a few days ago, and I mentioned that in 2011 we had an 83-page regulation on a company which had just started, and all that regulation was saying was kill this company. Now, that's a hard position to be in.
No, on the insurance side, I accept.
That's what I'm saying.
But I think on the insurance side...
It's become a lot better. But all I'm saying is, for those who've
No, India needs to become far more easy on
doing business, yeah.
On insurance, at least.
Specifically insurance, yeah.
What about you?
Amitabh, you've known us for many years and you know that we...
No, I'm not talking about just urban company. I'm talking about the startup movement. How do you ensure a better governance system in the startup movement of India? And that's critical to my mind. If the startup has to keep growing, if you people have to become the role model, if you have to inspire 1 billion young startup entrepreneurs, how do we ensure better governance in startups?
See, finally, I think it boils down to the founder. The heart of governance is doing the right thing always. And, that's something you can't really teach a founder. It is a function of many things, including your upbringing, the value system, why you're doing what you're doing. Of course, we can have oversight. I do believe that startups should have an independent board way before they go public. That helps. We've had an independent board for almost 3.5, 4 years now, even though we only recently went public. I do believe all the big 4 audits, etc., should happen from the get-go. But we have to remember that eventually, if the intent and the integrity of a founder is in question, that cannot be replaced.
Okay.
So
you're saying integrity and the intent of the founder is really critical. Peyush.
Absolutely.
First, we should not generalize that startups are...
No, Peyush, there have been a number of stories. Huh?
Yeah, I understand.
I brought this issue up because one after another I've seen startups growing, expanding, doing IPOs, then going tuck.
See, I would say governance is non-negotiable.
Yeah.
right? I would say we will see some very great companies come out of India in the years to come. And
Starting with Lenskart, huh?
starting with Lenskart.
Yeah.
And absolutely. And I think we all are sitting here with the dream.
Yeah.
And that dream can only be fulfilled if we stay high on governance. And I think, which is why I'm saying one should not generalize. It is happening. There could be a few cases here and there.
Okay, Phani, what about you?
Yeah, I think, it comes down to what is actually recognized and rewarded and what is not, right? And be it startups or otherwise, I think there have been a lot of discussions on valuation in the last few weeks, but it comes down to what value you're deriving or delivering to consumers, and that's a function of metrics like how many consumers' lives have you touched, right? What is the satisfaction score? The thing is, the moment people stop looking at that and look at this, red, green bar that goes up and down every day, that's when I think, people are forced or incentivized to stray down the wrong path.
All right. Okay. So let me turn and start with you again on this age of disruption through data, machine learning, AI, and how you're using the power of AI really to reach out to your consumers, do better analytics, improve your deliveries, etc. Just tell us 2 or 3 things which are making a difference to Swiggy.
Yeah, see, I think we probably analyze, 200 million data points every minute to actually predict
So 200 million data points every minute.
Yeah, because we need to predict for every customer what the delivery time is going to be, which delivery partner should get assigned, what is the right storefront to show the consumer, and many, many things, right? So for us, it's been if you look at how our business has been performing, a lot of the last few years, operating leverage has kicked in primarily because we leverage technology at the core, right? While our staff has remained the same, we're now almost catering to twice as many customers, and that's because of a combination of technology and AI. And personally, for me, the place where I see a lot more impact coming through is not productivity, but
so, since you're a young company, do you use that far more powerfully than legacy players like Flipkart and Amazon?
See, I think for us, that's how we've been born. Like our birth has taken place in technology, right? And therefore, it's come a lot more naturally. Of course, there's new technology like AI that we need to get adapted to. So I would say probably in comparison to other legacy companies, we would be more native, but then you need to always be on your toes. The market is completely unforgiving in that sense.
Peyush, Lenskart, how much of AI are you using? How much of cutting edge technology are you using? And are you using AI on the back of your spectacle? Will you be using camera on these specs?
Absolutely. I think it's time now, right? I think we missed the laptop and the mobile opportunity, and now is the opportunity as computing moves towards glasses. I'm wearing one right now.
What are you wearing?
I'm wearing the new B glasses.
So it's hooked onto a camera or a computer?
It has both.
Both.
Yeah, it has a camera, it has a computer, you can talk to it. So I think it is our time and opportunity to really own the next computing platform.
And tell me, how expensive is that specs with computer and camera?
This is going to be launched soon. I'm not allowed to disclose the price of it first on this.
You're not disclosing anything before CNBC.
All I can say it's going to be it's going to be a lot more affordable, lot better, and it is homegrown. So we are really trying that all the computing and the data comes to us this time, and we can build it for the world. Right?
Yeah. But you should disclose much more to the customers here. Abhiraj.
AI is, existential for all of us as companies today.
No, has it got embedded in urban companies?
Absolutely. So the way we think already is all service touch points, we need to monitor quality against SOP through AI, the entire matchmaking engine, all our interactions with our service partners, increasingly onboarding and training of service partners. But I must also highlight that, we're in the early phases of AI adoption in general. It's a very new technology. So it's changing so fast that all of us have to be on our toes to just keep pace with, often you implement something and you realize the next version of it is already out. So it's rapidly evolving, and I think the mindset has to be that, you have to be an AI first company.
So what, are you working with enterprise AI? Or are you working with established AI companies? Or are you working with Indian startup AI companies? Or how are you integrating AI?
See, we've kind of, at our end, we've created think of it as a payment gateway equivalent gateway, which can real time switch between any enterprise AI model at the back end, whether it's Llama, whether it's, ChatGPT, OpenAI, whether it's Anthropic, etc., etc. We don't want to be wedded to any one model right now.
Yashish, what about you?
Sir, for us, the biggest win has been on the fraud detection, because obviously, in insurance that becomes a very critical area, and we've been using AI for the last 3 years. Now it's become very, very ubiquitous, where all consumers' conversations, etc., are picked up, where the person is buying from, and all of this is checked with past claims data to see where fraud can happen. And that helps customers for keeping their claims happening.
So let me turn to the last question. And all four of you have been very, very successful so far. Undeniably, you're the finest entrepreneurs of the Indian startup movement. You'll go on to create great companies. Tell me about one great failure you've had while doing this, or one of the biggest challenges that you faced while doing this. Because they say that for every startup, you have to have a failure, you have to have a challenge. What is that one big failure, one big challenge that you were confronted with? Or were you successful right throughout? You never faced a challenge.
Sir, it's become very easy. I hate to say it, but you know my answer. My answer was the regulation was very, very difficult. So
you're saying the government was your biggest challenge? Right?
Not the government, sir. The regulation has evolved, but it was a very challenging...
You can say politely, insurance regulatory authority was the biggest challenge.
Right now, it's in a very good shape.
But
I think way back, it was a very challenging environment.
All right. What about you, Abhiraj?
Well, urban company is our second idea. Our first one didn't work.
You failed in the first one?
Yes.
And
what was that? It was a company in the media space, but it was a good reminder that, despite the degrees and the professional success, the real market only rewards you if you have a valuable product or service. It doesn't care about anything else.
So the customer focus.
Absolutely.
Customer is the king.
Customer is the king. That's all that matters.
Peyush, what about you?
I think what was the biggest challenge was that, we really wanted to get into very deep in India. And, as we were opening stores, there was this belief that stores cannot grow as fast. You can only open that many number of stores in India. Nobody has gone beyond. And there was a lot of, pre-assumed notions about it. And then what we did is we developed a geo-analytics tool where we open now 350, 400 stores a year. And a human doesn't decide where to open the store.
So it's all analytics.
Yes, it's all AI and analytics.
Phani, what about you?
I think for me personally, we do a lot of tinkering innovation in Swiggy. We fail more than we succeed, to be honest. I mean, we only know Instamart, but there are 3 more failures behind the scenes. Right?
So you've had a number of failures before you succeeded on this one.
And it's one of those really depressing things because you're throwing everything at the problem and it just doesn't work. And as Abhiraj said, it just comes down to, are you focusing on the right problem? Are you giving it your best?
Wonderful. Such a pleasure and a delight talking to all of you. And may you all go on to create the greatest companies for India. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Let's have a photograph here. Photo खिंचवाओ यार. Selfie कौन लेगा?
What a fantastic conversation. A big thank you to Mr. Amitabh Kant for leading that discussion. And thank you to our speakers for sharing such sharp insights and candid reflections. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, a huge round of applause.